Hello, I'm Charlie with All-Star Construction and Pest Management. I'm out here on Pleasant View Drive today. We're doing a home inspection, pest inspection, and a roof inspection on the property. So I'm putting this video together, makes the reports a little easier to understand. We're going to start off with some of the existing site conditions. Obviously, it is a nice sloped lot. The house overall is in pretty good shape. You know, it has a couple things here and there, pretty typical type things that you would normally deal with a house of this age and style. The asphalt driveway does have some cracking. It's going to be important to just maintain that by seal coating everything, sealing it all back together. That way you don't have any moisture kind of getting down in between those cracks and causing any kind of premature lifting or potholes from accumulating, you know, at the front entry. Another thing that you're going to want to do is just maintain the driveway here, keep it clean so we don't get debris getting washed down into the gutters, which could lead to blockages and things like that. And you know, the area looks like it's been draining pretty good. There is a little bit of evidence over here. It looks like some moisture intrusion a little bit over here on the sides at one point in time. Something that you'd probably just want to kind of keep an eye on. It does have exterior electrical plugs. They're not GFI protected, you know, which is pretty typical again for the age of the structure. Portion of the underside of the deck I couldn't physically get underneath, but I could see. I could do a visual inspection on it, and it looks like it is being protected by this roof pretty well, so it's not getting really a lot of rot or weather on it. Keeps everything nice and dry. We do have some rot coming into some of the roof sheathing over here on the edges, and what's happening is that we don't have any flashings, and you can see that there's a void between the gutter and the roof sheathing. That's allowing that moisture to kind of curl back, and it's starting to rot out the tongue and groove. And there's a layer of plywood. Originally this house had a skip sheathing installed with a wood shake shingle, and then when whoever changed it over to composition did the right thing by installing the underlayment. So it looks like it's got what probably was 5/8 underlayment. Appears to be kind of swollen up to 3/4. But this kind of gives you the better view of it. You can see where that water's been coming down and getting in between those two layers of ply. You know, this is the original tongue and groove, and then this is the underlayment that was added. And whoever put the gutters in didn't install any flashings, and so that water's coming down, it's accumulating between there, and it's causing all this rot to set in across these lower sides. So what the recommendation is going to be for the repair on that is going to be removal of the shingles over here across this lower edge, and installation of a drip edge flashing, and replacement of all that damaged or rotten the roof sheathing. You know, as I look around, you know, running across these different edges, you can see kind of all over the place, and I just kind of randomly just picked this spot, but you can see that rot is setting into the majority of that roof sheathing, and it's probably going to extend about 8 inches up. So you know, we'll probably be about 1 foot up on the first 2 shingles coming up the roof line there. It does have eyebrow vents installed, and the shingles themselves appear to be in pretty good shape. They're laying nice and flat. Not a lot of moss. There's a little bit of moss, but you know, it's not too bad. It's going to be important to kind of keep that clean too as well. You know, you don't want that moss to grow underneath anything and start causing moisture to the same thing, kind of curl underneath it, and then it'll freeze and cause some problems. I think a large portion of the roof we'll probably be able to fix from the top side here as far as installing the flashings and making those rot repairs. It does have some surface rust on some of the flashings up top, which is pretty typical. Be a good idea to just keep this painted and maintained. And obviously we got the screens installed for the spark arresters. Also want to keep the gutters and everything clear of debris, and the electrical weatherhead is in pretty good shape. It's a 200 amp service coming in. Jump off the roof here now. So it does have 2 systems installed, HVACs, and one is for the upstairs and one is for the downstairs. There is a little bit of debris starting to build up on the bottom of the unit. You want to just keep all those areas nice and clean. This is the electrical service coming into the structure. Some of the electrical is in need of labeling. It is all properly grounded though. This window over here, I forgot to mention as I walked by, is fogged over, indicating that the seal's blown between the two panels, and so that window's in need of replacement. All of the windows are double pane with an aluminum frame. Most of them are in pretty good shape. There's also one in the master bedroom that doesn't want to open all the way. A lot of the areas underneath the deck have some fungus kind of going into them, and it's starting to rot out the top portion of them. Now the deck appears to be pretty usable. You know, some of these posts here you're going to want to keep an eye on. If they get much worse, they're going to need to be replaced. You know, this one over here is at the point of needing to be replaced, so it doesn't want to have any kind of collapsing, but a lot of the structure is held together by these newer piers and posts that have been added on, so it does kind of restructure everything, you know, so it's not going to just collapse out from underneath it. But because there is kind of widespread minimal rot on the majority of the deck, the recommendation would be to remove and replace it. A lot of the areas around the structure are in need of paint. It's kind of flaking off the backside especially, and would recommend doing a primer coat on that siding and then installing some paint over everything. Has a little pop out window that's in pretty good shape. Some previous woodpecker damage on the siding, that's why the owl's been installed. Most of the handrail's in pretty good shape and holding up quite well. You can see that there is some fungus coming in on the underside of the decking, and the cantilevered portion of the joist does have a little bit of rot in it. The rot appears to go about 3/4 of an inch into the wood as it's cantilevered out of the side of the structure here. And I would recommend pulling up the decking over there, just disposing of it. Most of that decking has some rot in it. Cutting the joist down 3/4 of an inch to the good wood, installing some metal flashings, and then reinstalling that decking on there. There's also some cosmetic blemishes on some of the downspouts in a couple different areas. And another spot over here that I had have some pictures of. You'll see that on the home inspection report where the downspout is pulled loose away from that fascia board. Coming into the garage, there's a little bit of minor cracking on some of the garage slabs. In overall pretty good shape though. We also have some staining up top, and this is underneath the bathroom area. Some sort of flooding possibly. There's also a loose toilet and it's inaccessible. I can't quite get to it, but you know, there's just obvious signs of previous leakage here. There's also electric water heater. It is properly strapped at the top and the bottom. You know, I like seeing that it has the proper conduits and everything. It's an older unit, but it seems to be functioning properly at this point in time. $220 for the dryer. It doesn't have any gas coming out of it. Electric garage door is in good shape. It's working properly. All the hinges and springs appear to be functioning properly. It is a metal door. And this is a kind of a wood-looking vinyl floor running throughout the kitchen and into the back room. This is going underneath the structure. Looks like I misplaced or lost my flashlight. That's not good. Makes it kind of hard to show. Maybe I can use my cell phone for now. Bear with me here. Plan B. Okay, it's not quite as good as my other light. There is a little bit of termite activity going into some of the cellulose debris underneath here, and so the cellulose debris is relatively minimal. I would recommend picking all that stuff up so we're not attracting any subterranean termites, and then applying some chemical around the foundation perimeter to kind of prevent anything from getting any kind of worse, you know, from coming up into the structure. Now I got to try to turn off my flashlight. I don't know how to do it. I'll figure it out later or something. I don't know. Whatever. Finish up the video. So there's also a spot over here. I guess it's good I didn't turn the flashlight off, but we're missing a little bit of insulation underneath the staircase, and there's a couple spots inside the sub area also at the flooring that are in need of some insulation as well. So this is the half bath, and it is in the downstairs. I did check everything for leaks. That was in good shape. I believe this toilet, yeah, the toilet's loose, it's rocking on that wax ring flange. I'm going to want to reset that with a new wax ring. It does have a fan, no windows or anything like that. And it's just a tile countertop with a tile surround and a wood vanity. In the kitchen area, all the appliances were in good working condition. Also has that same sort of tile finish on the backsplash and on the countertop. Fluorescent lighting on the ceiling, and I didn't see any evidence of any leaking or anything like that. The kitchen area is in really good shape. It does have a pretty decent Berber carpet running throughout the living room. There is some areas where there's a little bit of singeing probably from the wood burning fireplace right here. And there's also a small settling crack just above the sink over here on the side. I believe we had a leak underneath here at the same sink. Yeah, you can see that's been dripping over there at that angle stop, so I want to shut that off. Seems like when it's shut off, it doesn't want to leak. There was a lot of sediment in the line, appearing that didn't run for quite a while. I took this little filter here off so I could at least test everything. But yeah, I definitely want to keep an eye on that sediment, make sure that it doesn't get any kind of worse. The interior is finished out with a knockdown texture on the sheetrock. Fan was in good shape. Both the fan in the downstairs and this hallway fan over here, where it appears to have a light bulb burned out of it. Could also potentially be a short, but most likely a bulb. We do have carbon monoxide and smoke detectors installed properly throughout the structure. These are 2 more settling cracks. It appears to be from the weight of the fireplace. It's kind of relieving some pressure right there. Over the years, it's going to experience a little bit of movement just because the different types of materials and the weight of it. So that is the window that was fogged out. Obviously, this is finished with the exposed beam, tongue and groove. And this lower window here, I didn't see any evidence of stamps indicating that this is a tempered glass window because of the elevation, the height of it, where it's installed as well at the base of the staircase. If you do wind up replacing the windows in here, you're going to have to go back with tempered glass in some of these areas. So it is a kind of a split level. This is the upstairs. And this thermostat for the upstairs is located in the hallway. Thermostat for the downstairs is located in the living room, downstairs living room area. So this is the hallway bathroom, upstairs hallway bathroom. I didn't see any evidence of any leaking. I believe the toilet was tight on this bathroom. Yeah, it was good and tight. Small void. You just want to maintain those seals between the bathtub. This is a cast iron bathtub with a tile surround. And all of that stuff's in good shape. It does have a fan light combo and a window installed. I'm going to call this bedroom number 1 on the report. Just got to refer to them as something. So it has some pretty basic bifold doors. Electrical's all in pretty good shape. The screen over here is damaged, kind of in need of replacement. It looks like the sun's been kind of beaten up on it a little bit. Boy, the heater's working good. It's hot up here. I'm going to call this one bedroom number 2, and it has the attic access installed. And my light's not really on right now, so I'm not going to mess with it too much, but it's an engineered truss. There's also some areas where some air ducts are leaking, and it has a blown in insulation up there. And then this is the master bedroom. Has some bifold doors going into the walk-in closet. And walk-in closet's finished out with the carpet. It also has the exposed beam with the wood paneling. This window over here, I was unable to get it to stay in the up position. See if I can just kind of show it here. When you let go of it, it should stay, but it wants to fall back down. And that's the only one in the house that was doing that, but it is definitely in need of repair. And obviously has, finished out with the sheetrock. Has a pocket door coming into the bathroom here. This toilet here was loose. It is loose. And then it has a custom shower pan with a tile surround. Now this is where those moisture stains were accumulating. I don't know, it looked like probably mostly across the side over here and maybe even on the inside. And that could have been due to some flooding, could have been due to some previous leakage. If anything gets any kind of worse, what we'd have to do is open up that sheetrock from down below and inspect it and make sure that there's no rot or any leaking occurring currently. And this is the upper deck, and then we already talked about cutting down these joists a little bit and the gutter that's pulling loose. A lot of that stuff's going to be addressed with the recommendation for the rot repair across the roof section. We would be going in across basically wherever the gutters are attached, replacing those shingles and then putting up those flashings. So I think that's pretty much the bulk of the walkthrough. If you guys have any questions, give me a call. Phone number is 209-768-2478. Again, my name is Charlie. Hopefully it's been helpful. Take care and have a great day.